Now, how do you take a school from looking like this to looking like this?
We give the award for Best Student Film.
Now, this is not some fancy college discussion or some sort of theory. This is what we really did in our school. But before we get too carried away, let's go ahead and play that intro. Now, I included 3 links down below that kind of tell the backstory of why we needed to transform school, what actually happened in our school that required us to change, make some changes. There's another video that talks about our extra detention program, how we put them in place and what that is. And the third video is the success we've had so far with our detention program when we tackled the problem of tardies. And to give you a real quick glimpse, we had on average about 124 tardies a day, and because of our detention program, we were able to transform or lower that number by 66%, which is incredible. But then that brought up the next question: what do we focus on now? Now that we focused on tardies and we saw a huge success of that, what is the next thing we're going to focus on? And as a school, we decided horseplay was the next thing we're going to focus on. Now, to give you a better picture of our school, we're a school in Southern California, a middle school, 6th grade to 8th grade in Southern California. We have a population of 942 students. And in my opinion, I think we're an average school, but I never worked anywhere else, so I could not tell you for sure. But what I do know is we put a detention program in place. It had tremendous result with our tardies, once again, 66%. And now we're turning our focus on to horseplay. So to understand the purpose of our detention program, I want to make sure this is very clear. And I believe this in my classroom and anything in general. The purpose of discipline isn't to punish. When we issue a consequence to our students, it's not to punish our students. That is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to change their behavior. And so the thought is, what consequence can we issue to our students that would help them change their behavior to the desired result? That is the reason why we have our detention program. Some other philosophies that go into it are this: that we need to take care of the small stuff so they don't turn into the big problems. We got to make sure we're fair, firm, and consistent. And also the 10-80-10 rule, that if we do the right thing, if we're consistent and we're fair and we carry through and all of that, that we're going to see a transformation. You got 10% that no matter what you do are always going to have issues. 10% that are, no matter what you do, are always going to do great, but it's the 80% we're going to focus on. So our goal was to move the 80% towards the right direction, and we did that with our detention program, as well as the results in our tardy policy. So regarding horseplay, we have to, and we're actually still in the middle of doing this right now, we're trying to find what horseplay means to us. I remember I was having a conversation with one of our campus security, and we were talking about, our next goal, focus on horseplay. And for me, horseplay is it's any kind of messing around. So it might be maybe throwing the football around, or chasing somebody, or I don't know, something else, throwing something back and forth, just any kind of messing around, goofing off, in my opinion, was horseplay. And so I thought that would be the focus of our next thing. But I was talking with campus security, and they're like, no, I don't think so. Their main focus was to stop fights from happening, or for stop things from escalating. So in their mind, at least the one security person I was talking with, their definition of horseplay was this: that if it was any kind of touching of another student, any kind of messing around to the point where you're actually physically touching another student, that's what they considered horseplay. So right from the get-go, I realized before we can actually tackle the problem of horseplay, we have to define exactly what it is. Now with tardies, it was quite simple. Tardies was easy because we all had an understanding that if a kid was late to school or late to class, that was a tardy. But with horseplays, there's a little more nuance in it. And so as a staff, that's what we're going to have to decide upon is, what are we going to consider tardies? And then the next part of it is, how are we going to carry through in trying to change that behavior? Once again, when it comes to discipline, you're not trying to punish a student. And I think the word discipline has gotten a bad rap, right? I mean, for example, if I'm trying to lose weight, I have to be disciplined enough not to go to McDonald's. My goal is to lose weight. I got to do things that move me in that direction. But if I go to McDonald's, then that's not going to happen. I have to discipline myself, self-discipline, to make sure that doesn't happen. When it comes to students, same thing. There has to be discipline put in place to make sure certain behavior doesn't happen or to alter certain behavior. And so when it comes to these things, that's what we got to keep in mind. That is the purpose of discipline. And when I was talking with another teacher, he talked about a study that he came across, which I found fascinating. And I thought, if you really think about it, I think that's so true. I know that affects me. And so the study had to do with criminals and criminal behavior. And so what the study found was this. It wasn't the magnitude of the consequence that altered criminal behavior. Meaning it wasn't, hey, you're going to either get 5, 10, 15, 20 years in jail. By increasing the years, that really did not alter the behavior that much. But what altered the behavior wasn't the magnitude of the consequence. It was the chance that there was going to be a consequence. How more likely were they going to be caught? The higher the chances are of them being caught, the less the activity happened. Even if the punishment or the consequence was very small, the chance that they were going to get caught was more important than the fact that there was actually a huge consequence. Now, if we take that philosophy and we apply it to our lives and apply it to the classroom and even a school, that is the idea behind this. So back to our thing with tardies. The reason we were able to see success with tardies is because we issued, if a student was late to class, we issued a lunch detention. It's not that big of a punishment. It means for 30 minutes, they basically, instead of hanging out with their friends, they had to hang in the classroom with a teacher. It's not that big. But the thing was, we were consistent with it. We did not miss a beat. If a student was late, they got the consequence. And so we didn't have to do some severe consequence to alter behavior. We just had to make sure we were consistent with it. And so regarding the horseplay, when it comes time to truly enforcing whatever we decide as a school, as horseplay, the key is not going to be the consequence itself, which most likely will be a lunch detention. The key is how consistent are we as a school enforcing it. And that's where it's going to take the cooperation of everybody, security as well as teacher. So as we put this into place and as it starts developing and we solidify exactly our definition and then we come together as an entire school, I know we're going to see huge success with the horseplay. And so by eliminating those two smaller problems, tardies and horseplay, I'm hoping and I am positive we're going to see great results with the major issues going on in our campus. But I will keep you posted.